Behold, the monthly paycheck. This pie represents 160 hours of your life, 22 overpriced coffees, 3 passive-aggressive Zoom meetings, and that one time you cried in the break room. It is the sweet, tangible reward for your labor. It looks delicious, doesn't it? You've already mentally spent it, maybe saving for a vacation, or perhaps just buying the good brand of toilet paper for once. But before you can even taste the crust, here comes the landlord. He doesn't care about your hard work, he just cares about market value. Yoink! That is 50% of your caloric intake gone in a single scoop. And look at you, you're trying to be optimistic. You're thinking, hey, I can survive on half a pie. I'll just diet. Wrong again, because here comes the utilities monster. Electric, gas, water, and the Wi-Fi you legally need to maintain the job that bought the pie in the first place. Apparently, existing in the modern world is now a subscription service with hidden fees. So what are you left with? You are left licking the tin, staring out the window at a building you're not allowed to enter, wondering if photosynthesis is a viable alternative to buying groceries. Welcome to the modern economy, folks. Bon appetit. My name is Elias Thorne, and I spend way too much time obsessing over why the basic human need of shelter has suddenly become a luxury product. Seriously, I crunch these numbers so you don't have to cry yourself to sleep looking at Zillow. If you are someone who checks your bank account on the first of the month and wonders if living in a retrofitted van down by the river is actually a sound investment strategy, you are not crazy. You are just living through a historical anomaly. Your grandparents could buy a house on a single income working at a milkshake factory, while you need 3 side hustles just to afford a studio apartment where the shower is in the kitchen. The numbers on your screen aren't a reflection of your personal failure. They are the receipt for a systemic one. We are going to dissect the mathematical corpse of the housing market today. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm, which, unlike your landlord, actually rewards engagement. Seriously, smashing that like button is free. Unlike your security deposit, which you are definitely never seeing again. Let's get this video out to as many broke millennials as possible so we can all cry together. Here's the thing. You've probably heard the golden rule of personal finance. Your parents said it, financial gurus scream it. Never spend more than 30% of your income on rent. That rule sounds responsible, right? But here's what they don't tell you. That rule comes from the United States National Housing Act of 1937. 1937! Back then, the government literally capped public housing rent because they believed anything higher was predatory. You could pay your rent with a firm handshake and a sack of potatoes. Fast forward to today. That rule is a mathematical impossibility for almost everyone. In major cities like New York, London, or Toronto, the average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment is hovering around $2,500. That isn't a typo. That is the actual cost of entry for a living space that barely fits a twin mattress and a hot plate. If you want a window that faces something other than a brick wall, add another $500. Let's do the actual math. To spend $2,500 on rent and have that be only 30% of your income, you need to bring home roughly $8,300 a month. That is after taxes. That means you need a gross annual salary of over $130,000 just to rent a decent box to sleep in. The median individual income? It's about $40,000. Do you see the gap? That's not a gap, that's a canyon. Now you might be thinking, but Elias, I see cranes everywhere. They are building apartments all over town. Supply and demand says prices should drop. I love your optimism, but look closer at those signs. They all say luxury. Every single one. Why? Because developers aren't building homes for people. They are building assets for investors. Here is what most people don't realize about construction. The guts of a building cost the same no matter what. Land costs are fixed. Steel and lumber prices are global. Union labor rates are set. The cost difference between building a budget apartment and a luxury apartment is surprisingly small. Maybe some nicer flooring and a granite countertop. But the rent difference is astronomical. If you're a developer, are you going to spend $300,000 to build a unit you rent for $1,200? Or are you going to spend $320,000 to build a unit you rent for $3,000? It's a no-brainer. This creates a top-heavy market where the only new supply is for the top 10% of earners. The rest of us, we are left fighting a gladiator match over the crumbling units built in the 1980s. But wait, this is where it gets really interesting. And by interesting, I mean dystopian nightmare levels of interesting. Have you ever noticed that every apartment complex in your city seems to raise prices at the exact same time by the exact same amount? You aren't paranoid. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a software product. There are companies, RealPage is the most famous one, that sell pricing algorithms to landlords. They literally advertise their ability to push rents higher than the market would naturally allow, which is corporate speak for, we are robbing you and we are proud of it. Here's how it works. In the old days, landlords competed. If building A was too expensive, you went to building B, and building A had to lower its price. Capitalism, baby! But now, they all feed their private data into the same algorithm. The algorithm looks at the data and tells everyone to raise rents simultaneously. It creates a digital cartel where competition is dead and you are the hostage. Imagine if every grocery store in town decided milk costs $20 today. That is what is happening to your apartment. It effectively allows landlords to price fix without ever having to meet in a smoke-filled room to break the law. The software even encourages them to keep units empty rather than lower the price. They are artificially restricting supply to squeeze you for every dime. That hand stealing your pie in the intro? It's not a human hand anymore. It's a robot hand. And unlike a human, you can't negotiate with a line of code that views your desperation as just another profitable data point. So why do we stay? Why do we let them take 50% of the pie? Why don't we just move to the countryside and live in a yurt? Because landlords understand the psychology of friction. Moving is expensive. It is physically painful. It is emotionally draining. You have first month's rent, last month's rent, a security deposit that you know you're never getting back, and the cost of hiring movers because you're 30 years old and your back can't handle a sleeper sofa anymore. It costs thousands of dollars just to switch apartments. Landlords know this. They calculate exactly how much they can raise your rent, say $150 a month, where you will be angry, you will scream, but you will pay it. Because paying $1,800 a year more is still cheaper and easier than the $3,000 it costs to move. They are monetizing your exhaustion. It's the only business model where the customer retention strategy is simply making the exit door too heavy to open. The system is designed to keep you hungry. It relies on you being passive, tired, and accepting that this is just how it is. But knowledge is the only leverage you have. Knowing about the algorithm, knowing about the luxury trap, that is how you start to fight back. You have to realize that your apathy is their profit margin. When you start asking questions, when you start organizing with your neighbors, the dynamic shifts. One person complaining is a nuisance, but a whole building demanding fair treatment is a force of nature. It's time to take back your slice of the pie. Don't let them take the crumbs too. Negotiate your lease. Look for private landlords who don't use the software. And for the love of money, vote for housing policies that actually increase density. Seriously, show up to your city council meetings because I guarantee you the landlords are already there. Join a tenant union and turn your building into a community that refuses to be bullied. You have more power than you think, but only if you actually use it. If this video made you angry, good. Use that energy. If it helped you understand why you're broke, hit that like button so other people can find it too. I'm Elias, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully in a cheaper apartment.